State. Biggest story in the sports world today really broke right as we were finishing the show yesterday afternoon, just before 6 o'clock Central Time. Dak Prescott locked up long-term, long-ish term by the Cowboys. He gets a 4-year deal worth $160 million, a guy that has been covering sports in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex for a long time. Mac Engel joins us right now. He's a columnist at the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. Mac, it's been a while. What's up, my man?
Nothing. I can honestly say that. For the last year, nothing has been up. I just turned in my mileage for the last month, Richard, and I went nowhere. Nowhere. Everything was over the phone, and I'm sick of it. It's been a year. So when people ask me, hey, what have you been up to? Nothing. I've been doing nothing. How about you?
Well, hopefully things are about to change. I was in your neck of the woods 3 weeks ago for the college baseball showdown. And
you went. Thanks for the phone call. I appreciate that, Richard. That was good. Thank you.
Yeah. It was a bit of a work trip, but yeah, I'm still a jerk for that. My bad. That ballpark is awesome, by the way.
Yeah, what did you think? Did you like it?
Oh, it's fantastic. In fact, we came back and I made an argument that the College World Series would be better there than in Omaha.
Oh, I bet that went over well.
People thought about it a little bit. I actually had a conversation with an assistant baseball coach about that, and their initial reaction was no shot. And then thought about it for a while, and they're like, it's not the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I don't think anybody's really on board with it, but I think it could be pretty cool.
I think that's probably about 10 years premature. But I do think somebody's going to wise up to the fact that the College Baseball World Series has value, and they're going to put it up for a bidding process, no different than they do the NCAA basketball tournament, the Final Four.
Yeah. We'll see.
So I mean, I think I think that idea is just ahead of its time. But you've given me idea. That's for sure. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you.
Forward thinker column forthcoming from Mac Engel. Hey, so talk to me about this deal from Dak, and let's just start with local reaction. Most everybody, I think, that's a Cowboys fan, wanted this to get done. There certainly was frustration. I know there's some that maybe thought the Cowboys should move on. What's been the reaction in the last almost 24 hours to the deal being done?
Well, one, I think there is a high degree of relief, kind of like constipation. You know what I mean? Like, someday it's going to happen, and then bang, the big day happens. You're like, oh my God, thank God that's over. Because, I mean, this has been talked about for the better part of 2.5 or 3 years. I know I probably could have found a better analogy, but it's one that everybody can relate to.
No, he couldn't have.
Yep. So there is that degree of relief to it. I think there was some curiosity, like maybe the Cowboys would do like the Rams did with Jared Goff and flip their quarterback somehow for Russell Wilson, like Goff went to the Lions in exchange for Matt Stafford. I don't think that was ever going to happen. I just don't see Seattle getting rid of Russell Wilson. I think there's a lot of fans out there who are really excited about this because now at least this is done, and there's some genuine excitement at the idea that Jerry Jones paid this contract knowing that the NFL's TV contract is about ready to go up significantly. So the salary cap hit of the Dak contract won't be catastrophic the way some of these other deals potentially can be. But then, Richard, in all candor, there is a lot of apprehension that, the Cowboys just signed up for 4 more years of what they've had, and that it's just not going to be good enough. And I really like Dak Prescott. I don't know if you ever had a chance to spend time with him when he was in Starkville, and you couldn't ask for a better guy. Like if my daughter said, hey, Dad, I want a jersey of a Cowboys player, I wouldn't flinch to give her a Prescott jersey. And same with a lot of those guys on that team. He's a really good guy, and everybody with the Cowboys wants to see him succeed. And anybody who's watched that team the last couple of years would say, has he hit his ceiling? He's really good. He is really good. And I think when he went out with his broken ankle last year and he was replaced by Andy Dalton, everybody saw the difference between a standard, pretty good NFL quarterback and a better NFL quarterback. Dak is better. He is. But he needs some help. That team is so lopsided, Richard, that they're asking Dak and his friends on offense to be the Chiefs. And they're not. He's really good. He's not Patrick Mahomes. He's just not. They have such a bad defense that they're basically asking him to score at least 30 points a game, at least, to have a chance. And they can't. They fall behind. They get a couple of 3-and-outs, and the other team's already up 10-0, and that totally changes a playbook and a game, and a quarterback for that matter. So I think while there is some excitement about it, about at least he's locked up, they know they're going to have their guy, there is also some apprehension about, it's been 25 years of this, why is this going to be any different? And I got to tell you, Richard, as someone who's followed the Cowboys for a long time, I got to tell you, I can completely sympathize with that point of view.
Mac Engel, Fort Worth Star-Telegram on your radio. He's visiting with us on the Farm Bureau phone line. Check out favorites.com and go with the home team, Mississippi Farm Bureau. The defense that you talked about, I mean, that's pretty well chronicled. How much of that was a function of just rotten luck from an injury standpoint, and how much of it is they're just bad, it doesn't matter if they're healthy or not?
The injury bug really nailed them on offense last season. I'm talking last season. But even if you go before then, you've had one probably top 5 player in his position on defense consistently in the last several years, and that was DeMarcus Lawrence. Other than that, you can't name them. Sean Lee has been a great pro, but he's just battled injury. Jalen Smith is a terrific story, but he's not a catalytic player. He doesn't make big plays. He plays a lot, and that's worth a lot, but he doesn't make big plays for a guy that they need plays. And I'm talking, Richard, you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a turnover that changes a game. I'm talking about a strip sack that changes a game. I'm talking about those plays. You don't see him very much from him. He makes tackles, and he plays a lot, which that has value, but they need something big. He doesn't bring it. Leighton Vander Esch, boy, when he plays, he's good.
Yeah.
But he's had a hard time staying healthy. They don't have anybody in the secondary. They haven't had a safety since Darren Woodson. They really haven't had a cornerback that's been reliable. And Byron Jones was pretty good, but he didn't contribute significant game-changing plays. But he was pretty good. And the other defensive end position has been Aldon Smith, who vanished. I mean, he shot out like a cannon when he came back last season. Then he vanished because he got hurt. And then he just flat out didn't look like he really wanted to play anymore. And then the other one is Randy Gregory, who was suspended more than he played.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, there's your defense and there's your problem. And I'm sorry, your offense can be great. Zeke Elliott's great. Mari Cooper's terrific, blah, 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 blah. But if your defense can't get off the field, I don't care. Eventually, the track meet thing has its limitations, and we've seen that the last couple of years.
Mac, about a minute and a half left, so I don't even know if we can get to this question in that amount of time, but everybody that I've read has written, Dak won on this deal. He wanted a 4-year deal. He got a 4-year deal. I kind of went contrarian on that and said, really, the Cowboys kind of got what they wanted also. They wanted a 5-year deal. They used the tag last year. If they could have signed him for $35 million a year ago, it really only ends up costing them about $15 million in the life of the deal. Am I crazy for looking at it that way and saying that really kind of both sides won?
I think they did. I think you get to a certain strata of NFL quarterbacks, and not many guys get there. A small number get there, Richard. And you think about all the good players who've come through Ole Miss or Mississippi State or Tennessee in recent years, and I bet you can't name 5 guys who've really gotten this kind of the second life-changing contract. You know what I mean? And not after the rookie contract, the second one. And if you get into the second one, you're going to win for your life. And Dak Prescott, between last season and now, I mean, really, he won. So, but I think the concern for Dak, he's bet on himself again in a way. I mean, now granted, he's playing with house money. He's playing with Jerry Jones money, but he's playing with house money by taking that 4-year deal. Quarterbacks typically see the lifespan of that contract. Receivers, offensive linemen, defensive backs, they don't see it. They get cut after the 3rd year. Quarterbacks usually see all of it. Dak, I think, is going to see all of it. My question for Dak is that if this doesn't work out and he doesn't keep climbing a little bit, improving a little bit like quarterbacks do every year, well, then, what's it going to look like after that fourth year? And I don't know. I know as a guy, and this time I've spent around him, I really like the guy, and I hope it works out. For Cowboys fans who have just been starving for a winner for 25 years, I hope it works out for them. But I think at the end, they both won. The Cowboys are dealing with profit margins that are beyond obscene, and it's just a question of can they finally put together the kind of season that they have yearned for the better part of 25 years, and we don't know the answer to that. I know this. As this team is presently constructed, even though as good as Dak is, they are not built to win a Super Bowl just yet. They might win the NFC East, which doesn't